So, What Did Jack Do is a short film by David Lynch where David Lynch plays a detective who interrogates a monkey. A talking monkey. A singing monkey. Yeah, there's musical numbers here. So this is a fairly odd little short film. It runs about 17 minutes, and it's mostly it's mostly confined to one environment. It's just David Lynch playing a detective who basically tracks down a monkey to a train station, and he basically corners him at a table, shot in black and white, so they can have that that detective noir aspect going. And he basically starts talking with this monkey that has sort of like human lips put over the monkey, kind of like the Clutch Cargo, or Clutch Cargo's too old a reference. Annoying Orange, I guess, if you kids are familiar with Synchrovox. But yeah, so he's essentially questioning this monkey about a crime, and we don't know what the crime is. We don't know specifically what Jack did or what Jack's past is, but we kind of learn what happened, what Jack actually did based on the dialogue that he has with Lynch. But what's interesting, is the back and forth between the monkey and Lynch is that, it feels like all their dialogue is just sort of riddled with these noir cliches, where they keep talking about how, they keep talking in different sayings where it never quite feels like they're revealing all the information and they're just speaking in a lot of slang. And then there are moments where you're debating whether it is slang or whether they're being literal here. Like at one point, they talk about Jack being involved with a chicken and that he loved that chicken and that he has a sort of, affection for chickens. Now, it is quite literal, but when you have so much of this other slang that goes on in their dialogue, it becomes a little bit of like an interesting scene of trying to decipher, when they're actually using, that old-fashioned detective slang and when they're actually being literal about what crime has been committed and what Jack is trying to be brought in for. And it's pretty much, kind of what we expect from David Lynch. The dialogue is very cryptic. The lighting is very, dark and moody. There's inclusion of cigarettes and coffee, obviously. The musical sequence feels very, very surreal, but somewhat fitting of kind of like, that classic noir tone where it kind of feels like it could be in that type of film. But it always feels off. And it's not just because they put human lips on the monkey and make the monkey talk, which, by the way, we don't actually know who played the monkey. Like in the credits, it literally lists Jack as playing himself. He's essentially playing himself. Although I'd be willing to bet that that the voice was actually provided by David Lynch, just because of the way that Jack speaks. And because Jack actually sings, it seems like David Lynch. Like the line delivery kind of seems like Lynch. The music he sings is a lot like Lynch's albums. If you've ever heard them before, it sounds very much like him. But of course, Lynch is doing the music here, obviously. So, but yeah, it's it's a strange little film. It's a fun little bit, and I like that. Like David Lynch is still doing this experimental stuff, or it doesn't just feel like like he's doing like he's trying to do another movie, or he's trying to work on like another TV series, like maybe another Twin Peaks. It actually feels like he's trying to experiment here, and we kind of saw this in the David Lynch documentary, where we essentially just kind of follow him around his estate while he's developing all these different types of paintings and art. And it feels like this is just like another extension of like something that he'd been toying with. Now, of course, this didn't quite come out of nowhere. Like he had apparently shot this way back in 2016. I think it's been at like a few like festivals or like a few events that he's premiered this short film at. But now it's available on Netflix for everyone to see. So yeah, this was kind of a little bit during the whole processing of another season of Twin Peaks. But yeah, it's interesting to see this odd little gem just kind of like come out of nowhere, even though it had been floating around for a while, it's finally nice to see it has a home on Netflix. To be honest, I kind of would have preferred it if it had like a spot on the Criterion channel, but at least since it's on Netflix, more people can see it now, and they have less of an excuse not to check out some David Lynch weirdness. And yeah, what can I say? It's perfectly surreal. It's exactly the kind of like fun and unexpected tinkering that I love to see out of David Lynch. And yeah, I hope there's more work ahead of him, more art, more short films. If he has another movie or TV series in him, that'd be interesting to see if that could happen. But it's just fun to see a director in his twilight years still churning out some interesting stuff, and stuff that we feel like maybe he'd be past it, like because in his early days he did a lot of short films. And it feels like he did like a few here and there, but not as much. So it's nice to see that he's still making short films at such an old age, and it's exactly my kind of jam. So for What Did Jack Do? 4 out of 5 stars.